What's going on with these Epstein files?
The most expansive blackmail operation
Period.
in human history. This whole idea of Satanism, this whole idea that they're deriving power from an evil source and it's giving them power, money, control, and fame is not out of the question.
They're eating babies' intestines, the feces out of babies' intestines. Like, come on.
It's not just some of them. It's all of them.
Maybe that Pizzagate was real. They spent $100,000 on a pizza party. Come on.
65,000 hot dogs in the middle of the night.
And where's 800,000 missing children every year?
They want people to feel helpless. They want the population to see all of this evil and feel like we got to do something, but what can we do? Yes, there was a massive intelligence operation that was basically capitalizing on this evil. What it really comes down to, we are being controlled. Israel is not our greatest ally. They're trying to normalize evil. And the scary thing is, we're there.
What evidence have you uncovered that the world doesn't know about? Do you know of any evidence that you've uncovered that would put people in jail that aren't in jail? What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs today in the studio, folks. I've got Ian Wendt, founder of Patriot Gear.
Official Patriot Gear, yeah.
Official
What's up, man?
Patriot Gear. That's for the Patriots, folks. This whole episode is going to be for the Patriots. Ian, if you don't follow him already, you can follow him at Ian Wendt. Sometimes his account goes down because of his content matter.
Iwenster, actually.
Iwenster.
IWendtster on Instagram, Instagram and X. YouTube is the Ian Wendt Show.
Yeah, Ian. Now, if you didn't go to that gay party, Ian went.
Yeah, Brad Lee. Brad Lee. So hey, anyway, we go back, bro. It's been folks, what, 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, but let's get a serious tone here because, folks, we need to talk. You know, what's going on in the world today, there's a lot of people that are just still sleeping. They're not awake to reality. Now, I'm an impartial guy. I listen to both sides. People think I'm like staunch Republican. I'm a little more conservative, yes, but again, dude, there's some things a few Democrats are saying that I like. You know, I'm open to certain entitlements and welfare and take care of your own, and I believe a lot of Republicans are. I just think the media twist it, makes it think that we're not. But yeah. Irrelevant. I'm not real political anyway. You, sir, are up on all the what's going on. You investigate things to the nth degree. You don't necessarily talk until you've investigated, which is what I like.
Yeah.
But so I want to talk about what's going on with these Epstein files.
I mean, look, I'm also where you are as far as political goes. I mean, I'm at the point where I actually encourage political homelessness. At this point, the two-party system is the biggest issue we have in the country because you have both sides that are competing for the same level of hypocrisy. And at the end of the day, none of them seem to actually care about us, the people. It's not America first anymore. It's America second, third, fourth, and mostly last, right? We trade one country where we're giving billions of dollars away to another country where we're giving billions of dollars away. And meanwhile, America just continues to suffer. We're trying to pick someone up off the ground with two broken arms. And so I also fall very much in the middle. And I would say that I consider myself more of a independent constitutionalist, I guess. But as far as
I would identify with that more than anything. Why? Because, dude, it's the Constitution. We've all agreed. That's right. We're not changing it. It's the Constitution. Yeah. So go by the Constitution and no one can argue.
Well, and it's the whole idea of America first, right? Like everybody, what does America first actually mean? I'll tell you what, for the longest time, I said that I'm America first and I'm not America only. In other words, I'm going to save my family if they're in danger long before I save anybody else. But then I'm absolutely going to try and save somebody else once my family's safe, right? That's at the end of the day, that's the whole idea. But we've gotten to a place where I actually think we need a hell of a lot of America only. I mean, I'm at the point where it's like, let's get our country together. Let's fix our problems. Let's take care of our people. We have people in North Carolina and Texas and all these places that have experienced natural disasters that get hardly any help from our government. It's got people like me going down there and giving away tens of thousands of dollars that we're able to raise through my awesome community. But that shouldn't be the way it is. The government should be taking care of our people, not other people in another country. I don't care what country it is, by the way.
Yeah, but that's common sense if you ask any normal human being. So exactly why is it not that way is the question.
Because they don't care about us. Because our government doesn't serve us anymore. Our government is supposed to be for the people. and they're not. They're for themselves. They're for enriching themselves. They're for lining their own pocketbooks. They're for whatever lobby is paying them the most money. You know, I find it really funny because I'm just as outspoken about the right as I am the left. Because I remember back in, 22, 23, 24 with the whole Ukrainian situation with Biden, I was vehemently against the fact that guy in the sweatsuit kept on showing up at the White House and demanding more and more money from us to join a war that we had no business being a part of. And I was very, very outspoken about it. And the interesting thing is a lot of the right was too. You had all the MAGA Republicans who were very outspoken about it and made all the memes and they did all the things, right? But now we have another situation with Israel where none of them seem to be saying anything. And it's like, why?
We almost have to bleep out the word Israel nowadays.
You do, which is, it should tell you everything. I heard a quote the other day that said, if you want to know who's actually in control, just look at the person you can't talk about.
Yeah, well, dude, listen. I mean, number one, I got a buddy of mine. He's an ex-operator. Mm-hmm. He tried to get a contract with the state of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Gets this contract. At the bottom, when you're signing it, it says in plain English, basically, I will not openly disparage or talk shit about Israel.
Yeah.
So why would a state of Tennessee contract make you agree to that? I mean, unless, of course, they have some sort of control. Now, I don't believe that there's any question whether they have control. And the control are the Epstein files. The control is the shit nobody's seen because it's not kind of evidence. Like right now, let's face it, the Epstein files are conversations. Mm-hmm. They make it say files to make it sound official. They're conversations, they're emails, they're videos, they're pictures. Yep. They call them the files because that's technically what they are, but they're just emails and conversations. So if my name was in those files, it doesn't make me guilty.
No, and that's
so hold on, let me finish because I want people to understand this.
Yeah.
So the Epstein files, which I believe are released on purpose. You know what I'm saying? And I believe like Obama saying aliens are real just recently. Mm-hmm. Well, that's convenient. But how come nobody understands that there's a movie on Prime Video that says Age of Disclosure where more than Obama, a lot of current people are saying, yes, aliens are real. Yeah. We've been in contact with them. They're real as hell. And they believe a lot of them are in the ocean. Mm-hmm. But nobody cares. It's like, it's the weirdest thing to me. Nobody cares there's aliens. Nobody cares anything. Yeah. Epstein files are just conversations and everybody wants to, condemn anybody who's in them. I think at the end of the day, those are just conversations between Epstein and people. But yeah, it does show things that need to be investigated. But what I also think is Israel does have control over us based on evidence that they have in their possession from an Epstein-like situation, meaning they got a kid, bent over, 14 years old, clearly, and one of our leaders is
not one of them
is doing them. Yeah, and that's why they have control.
Yeah,
period.
It was Epstein has now been. It's been like. It's insane that anybody even tries to dispute this, but it has been proven time and time again that Epstein was a massive, the most expensive blackmail operation in human history.
Did you read that he won 2 lotteries?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Because if that's real,
I mean, he went from nobody to billionaire in how long? That's the thing.
But if that's real, Ian, then that means that the mega jackpot or whatever they call it, the mega ball, is rigged.
I mean, does anybody actually believe that was real? I've never believed. I mean, I'm everybody's favorite conspiracy theorist, but when I look at things like the freaking mega ball and all that stuff, it's all bread and circuses, dude. At the end of the day, this is no different than any other time in history when it's been give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Every day there's something new for the people to focus on so that they're not focused on all the geopolitical moves that are being made that are making our lives harder as an American and getting us in more forever wars, and it's going to result in more of our tax dollars and more lives lost. We are I think I read somewhere that our new debt is like $39 trillion. I mean, dude, here's the thing. It's gotten to the point where for most people, money is totally fake. They throw out these numbers because they know that the normal human being can't even comprehend that number. When they say the word trillion, people are like, you're not even concerned because it doesn't make sense to the normal human being that isn't close to that kind of level. You know what I mean? So it's like money is fake. All of these distractions are complete bread and circuses to make us, to demoralize us as a society. I truly believe that what we're seeing right now is what Yuri Bezmenov talked about. I don't remember exactly when it was, but years and years ago, he was a former KGB agent, defector. And he basically laid out all the steps of how Russia would completely demoralize a country. And it's not just Russia, though. It's all these other countries of how they do this. But the demoralization process is all about flooding the country. First of all, you have the education system that's been infiltrated for decades, right?
Fact.
The Marxist ideology that's permeated our society and created nothing but, straight up communists, and also people who are completely docile, completely apathetic, and completely entitled to everything in the world. Those three things are going to be our downfall, and our enemies know it. They're not even firing a single shot, and they're winning the war. And it's because they're creating this insane demoralized society where, dude, files get released about kids being not only abused, but eaten by elites.
Yeah, but again, you got to stop for a moment and realize that might be planted bullshit.
I'll get there. Let's just say it is, but let's say it's not. Whatever. Either way, you have smoking guns on the fact that whether the kids are being eaten or whatever, they're for sure being abused. They were for sure being trafficked. And whether they're 5-year-old kids or 14-year-old girls, either way, we know that there was a massive blackmail operation that was sanctioned by government agencies to traffic children to elites. We know that is a fact.
How do we know this?
I mean, because, dude, the house was littered with cameras. The amount of evidence that came out about...
Yeah, but how do you know that was from the cameras? And my point is, if it's planted, Ian, let's say I wanted to frame you and I'm a smart son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So I create these Epstein files. Sure. And I have all in those files fake emails from you to Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And fake emails from Jeffrey to you. And I put in this fake video seemingly coming to and from you and Epstein. Mm-hmm. And now I release the Epstein files like it's a big thing. And now you're fucked. Like it could be planted information is my point.
It could be, but it doesn't make sense given how much pushback there was on the files for so long. I mean, think about the rollout, right?
Yeah, but both sides push back.
I understand. That's what I'm saying, though. It doesn't make sense to be orchestrated if there's that much pushback, because to release something that's totally fake and fabricated, you wouldn't have any pushback. You would just do it because you would understand what result you're going to create. The fact that they constantly said, there's no files, it's a Democrat hoax, it's this, it's that, like, all of that leads to the fact that they were absolutely trying to cover up as much as they possibly could. And also given the fact that now that it's come out, what's redacted? It's not the victims. Kash Patel got up and said, we are not going to dox the victims. We care about their identities. We care about their safety, blah, blah, blah. And then they straight up released the victims and redacted the criminals. That's the thing, right? So you look at what actually came out.
Well, that would mean that everybody in the government is corrupt.
So
every single person.
So let me get there. I'm trying to go back to what was my original thought when I was going to say the demoralization.
We don't have
thing,
all
right?
day.
No, I know.
I want to get questions answered from you.
So what's the question?
Okay, so as an example, Epstein files, Obama had them, Biden had them.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump was all over those files,
why didn't they release them?
They would have released
because they're in them.
It's not why
because they're part of it.
Doesn't matter. They could have redacted those. Point being is, if Donald Trump was guilty in those Epstein files, the Biden administration for sure. Obama, to me, is the same. Like, I think he was just under the basement, but he was running the shit the whole time. Obama would have released him for sure, guaranteed. He would have arrested Donald Trump, and they could have framed anybody, but they didn't. So therefore, Donald Trump, I do not believe, is complicit. I don't think Donald Trump was out humping little kids.
I will say this. I've actually said this from the beginning. Donald Trump's mentor was Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn was notorious for the fact that he was a master manipulator and a master of putting powerful people in compromising situations and then using it against them.
Of course. That's age old.
So
Blackmail.
what I've always said is, yeah, I mean, he did to J. Edgar Hoover, right? So what I said was, and what I've said since is basically, I do believe that Trump's a lot of things, right? And I do believe that right now he is definitely failing us as a president. And we are not getting what we voted for, straight up. Like, it looks like he's just another puppet being controlled by a country, whatever. But
he's doing some good things.
Aside from that, let's just talk about this, right? The way I look at this is he would have to be the biggest idiot to put himself in a situation like that, having had Roy Cohn as a mentor and watched him do it with all the other people. What I don't believe is I don't think Trump is stupid. I think Trump is very smart. And so if he really wanted to do any of those things, in my opinion, he would have done it in his penthouse and had no cameras and nobody would be the wiser. Do I put it past him to do it? Absolutely not, dude. I mean, all of these people are evil, in my opinion.
Listen, I would agree with that statement.
But I think it's either all of these people are involved or they have people around them that are involved that they cannot compromise. Either way, blackmail isn't just about them being compromised because they did a sexual act. Blackmail comes in many different forms. Blackmail comes in forms of financial. It comes in forms of all these different things. The other thing that a lot of people don't consider,
like, I'll kill your family.
Yeah, exactly. It could be that they're threatening to kill his family or threatening to kill somebody close to him or whatever. Like, that's not off the table. But I think the point is, we could dive into all the different possibilities of, is this person there? Is this person there? Whatever. I think the point is, these files are not nothing. And Epstein wasn't nothing. And that's been proven time and time and time again. And so the idea to just dismiss it as complete misinformation, to me, is exactly what they want. They want us, they're flooding us with so much information and so much evidence and non-evidence that it literally makes it impossible for anybody to come to a clean conclusion. And that's what they want. They want the chaos. It also comes at the exact time.
Delete them.
Because it also comes at the exact time. Think about this. AI is on the rise.
Yeah, right? But Hillary deleted them.
No, Hillary smashed her freaking hard drive.
Okay, so again, nothing happened to her, which, by the way, that's another freaking thing that pisses me off. Like,
so again,
we did that, we'd be in jail. She did it, no big deal.
Yeah.
But my point is this, because I listened to all the things you're saying, and I'm a common sense guy. Common sense tells me Donald's not complicit because they would have released him. Period. They hated him so badly. If he was guilty and they had evidence, they would have released it. Period. I don't even care if they would have sacrificed some of their own. That would have been done. So I take Donald Trump out of the equation, meaning, he's complicit in a lot of things, and he's not necessarily an angel. But I don't think he's got there's any.
You don't think he has the darkest of the dark?
There's no evidence of serious wrongdoing by him, or they would have released it. Period. Yeah. They would have.
Yeah.
So Donald's clear to me as far as like the evil shit. Now you look at Pizzagate, you look at all of these conspiracies. Well, those files lead to believe that, hey, maybe that Pizzagate was real. Because dude, it makes no sense. They spent $100,000 on a pizza party. Come on,
65,000 hot dogs in the middle of the night.
Where's 800,000 missing children every year? Where are they going?
And here's the thing too. That's the whole thing, right? The Podesta emails. There's a reason why they buried Julian Assange in the deepest, darkest hole for so long, right? Again, it's so deep. We don't have the time to cover all this, but you have to understand, and this is what I'm trying to get across, is that I have been saying for years, I've been the guy that's like pointing at the wall with all these different dots and all these yarn and everything. And it's like, this is the conspiracy. And everybody thinks you're crazy, but it's because it is all connected. And it's crazy to me to think that people don't believe that, because it's like, why? Let me just pose this question to everybody. Why do you believe that it's not possible that this could be real? Why do you think that it's impossible that these people could be trafficking, sacrificing, and eating even kids? Why do you find that so hard to believe? I'll tell you.
Because it's just unfathomable.
It's not just that. It's because of the branding, Brad. You're one person that probably understands branding more than most people on the planet. So think about this. Ritual sacrifice goes all the way back to the times of Carthaginian, I think is what it is, Mesopotamia. It goes back to all of these civilizations that believed they were doing it for, if they were in political stress, they did it. If they felt like they were having a famine, they did it. If they felt like any type of crisis that they were feeling, they would sacrifice children or sacrifice humans, believing that they were going to derive the power to be able to turn those things around. even to the point where there was those that believed that they were going to be youthful and live longer if they were able to sacrifice children and drink their blood. That's not a fake thing. You can look it up. It goes all the way back to the ancient civilizations. So that stuff never went away. I don't know why people just think that all of a sudden that went away. It just rebranded. So now instead of it being gold and capes and crowns and all the things that these people wore and were adorned with for so long, they're wearing suits and ties. But the same ideology exists. This whole idea of Satanism, this whole idea that they're deriving power from an evil source and it's giving them power, money, control, and fame is not out of the question. They are absolutely doing that. And so people like Epstein serve as the perfect conduit or the perfect magnet for these people to come out and show their true characters. And these countries, these governments that want to not only control people, but control nations and control the world, see that as an outlet. And so that's why it's not hard for me to believe that, yes, there was a massive intelligence operation that was basically capitalizing on this evil, capitalizing on the fact that they knew that these people would do these things and that they would put themselves in a situation where they would ultimately become completely controllable. So that
I believe wholeheartedly.
And so that's what's happening. But it's not just some of them. It's all of them, because our government is two wings of the exact same bird.
Well, look at Thomas Massey.
Yeah,
he's the one calling to have him released.
I'll tell you this. The number one thing because I voted for Trump, bro. I did. Okay. I think he has crapped the bed in every single way possible right now. And I think he is a puppet. But that being said, the number one thing that turned me off of Trump, like almost immediately, was when he went after Thomas Massey, because Thomas Massey is probably the only actual patriot, with like maybe an exception of a couple other ones, left in Congress. Every single time he votes, every single time he puts something through, or tries to get something done, it is 100% in our interest. If you actually read into what he's trying to stop or what he's trying to push, in addition to trying to push the Epstein files out. And it's just like they did with Trump. All these people that are so astute when it came to how the media attacked Trump and everybody came after him. Why can you not see that that's exactly what's happening with Massey, except now it's happening from his party? Now you have the politicians that are attacking him. Why?
What are they saying?
Dude, I think Trump's tried to primary him 6 times. They're saying they're constantly shaming him. They're constantly putting him down. The most recent thing that came out was now that, which again, to your point, you know how you said that everybody that's been named in the files, they're not necessarily complicit in the crimes. They're just named. Like you have people like Michael Jackson or freaking any of these other people that are just mentioned in the files because it's all of the information, right?
Well, it's because they're famous.
Well, of course, Thomas Massey is found in those files. So is Alex Jones. So is Trump. So is all these other people. Yesterday, there was a massive coordinated smear campaign launched by MAGA conservatives. All of them. You had all of the biggest talking heads posting the exact same thing. You know what it was? Massey's name circled in the file saying, bombshell, Thomas Massey is in the Epstein files. And it's like, we are completely cooked, because then you go into the comments and there's people that are eating it up. Oh, so much for that. He's a traitor, blah, blah, blah. So it's like
sheep.
100%, dude. And what it really comes down to is we are being controlled. We are being controlled. And I'll tell you how you know. Netanyahu showed up, had a full motorcade escort when he came into the country. By the way, he can come and go as he pleases. He doesn't have to say anything. He shows up and he has a full motorcade escort. They shut down the entire highway for him to get to DC. When he showed up in Congress, bro, he got 26 standing ovations by not just some of the politicians in our Congress, all of them. He was referred to as His Excellency. There was a
that's just etiquette and protocol.
Whatever. There was a 4-minute long standing ovation. 4 minutes.
What are they applauding?
The fact that he's paying them all.
I know, but like, what are they supposedly applauding?
Dude,
is he saying some miraculous shit?
No. He didn't say anything. This was a 4-minute applause. He got a 4-minute standing ovation just for walking in the building and standing at the pulpit.
But was there any purpose for the ovation?
Dude, it's how much money he's paying them. I
thought we were paying him.
Yeah, well, you think so, but how many of our congressmen are funded by Israel with not, and by the way, AIPAC is low hanging fruit. Everybody says, oh, it's AIPAC. No, it's all of the other organizations that fly under the radar that are Israeli backed donors and lobbies for all of these politicians on both sides of the aisle. Israel is not our greatest ally.
Yeah, but you would think everybody in Congress is
except for Thomas Massie.
No, there's a Chinese guy.
Sorry, there are a few other guys. I think Tim Burchett. I think Burchett's also another one that's. I actually met Burchett. He was pretty.
Here's the thing, though. So when Donald says, "I can't believe people are still focused on these Epstein files. Let it go." Dude. See, that's when it started to turn me off. Why? That don't make sense. Wait a minute, Trump. You ran your whole campaign on these Epstein files need to be released. Accountability, drain the swamp. Power back to the people, which is why you were voted in. And now you're in, and now you're saying, you guys are still focused on these Epstein files? It was all a hoax. That shit isn't a hoax.
No, it's not.
Okay, so that's the part that turned me off. Well, now, he's slamming Massie. Well, he slams anyone that doesn't go his direction.
Yes, but not as much as Massie.
That's because Massie's the one promoting to get rid to leave.
Bro, you know what was another crazy one? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I actually didn't even like MTG. I would hear things that she said and I was like, she is crazy. She was one of those people that was like, oh, she is so far gone with this whole MAGA thing. Because I've never subscribed to the MAGA thing. MAGA is not a movement for patriots. It is a cult for loyalists. We have gotten to the point where in this country, it is patriots versus loyalists. We have gotten right back to where we started. You are either licking the boots of your party or being completely manipulated because you're unwilling to challenge the narratives, or you actually recognize that regardless of what side you're on, what party is in power, we are being put last. And all you should care about, we the citizens, and all you should care about is this going back to we the people, for the people, and by the people. And it is not like that right now.
You know why?
Yeah, because we let them have the power. And because we became entitled and apathetic and we refused to actually stand up because of the freaking bread and circuses.
I disagree that we refuse to stand up. I don't think anyone knows how. So like when you started your program, that's what we were just talking about earlier.
Yeah. The modern exodus.
People should join a program where we at least connect. Because if you ask me, the reason we the people, and I've been saying this for years, nobody picks up on it when I do because no one says anything, but now it's getting more important. We the people, right? We're the ones who elect those guys. We're the ones that say, go up there and represent us. We're supposed to be in power according to the Constitution.
Yeah.
So we the people, right? All of us.
But that's not how it is because we're bought.
It is how it is because that's the Constitution. However, the reason it's not possible is because we, the people, have no way to prove agreement. So the government, let's take the government. They go up in their meetings. They finish their meetings. They stamp it. There's recordings. There's documents created. And it shows everybody voted and everybody agreed. And they can prove it. We, the people, have no way to agree and prove that we agreed. So if we, the people, want power back, we have to unite
100%
as a people and put together some sort of system that proves that we agreed. And that's the end of the story because the government has that. The government can say, hey, we're going to throw this law out there. If everyone agrees, it's a law. And they have that function. We, the people, we don't have that function. So somebody needs to come along and invent that function to where when I say, listen, we, the people, have decided you're no longer president. And we don't need a special election. Why? Because we, the people, agreed. And if we could prove that that's the case in unity, we would have control back. Business owners, listen up. If your business needs more money, and it will, banks aren't built to move quick. They'll make you fill out a ton of paperwork, wait for a decision, and by that time, the opportunity has passed you by. So if you want bank rates without bank delays, you need to check out Cardiff. Cardiff's been helping businesses get same-day funding for over 20 years. We're talking up to $500,000 approved and funded, quicker and easier than the big banks. You can apply online in under 2 minutes and get funded as fast as the same day. So whether you need quick money to bridge a gap, do more marketing, get some equipment, or even hire more people, I'm telling you, apply today at cardiff.co. Stop letting slow money cost you opportunities that move fast. There's no impact on your personal credit, so go to cardiff.co and apply. Subject to approval, terms and rates vary. Cardiff. Borrow better. So the reason we, the people, have no power, it's not because no one's willing to stand up, dude. I get DMs every day. Brad, start something.
I know. It's
start something
every single day. Yeah.
As soon as the person pops his head up who starts something, whack, down comes the axe. And now that person's silent. It's not going to work as an individual.
No, it has to be collective, and it has to be massive, and it has to be fast, and it has to be coordinated, and it has to be planned. But here's the next thing,
that's why it's never going to happen. Because, dude, somebody needs to be able to have a way to prove that we, the people, agree, or at least the majority. Then we would get some power. So, like, for example, right now, Epstein files, I kept saying, who's deciding to not release them? Who's this judge? Get the judge out of there. Yeah. Oh, there's Supreme Court. You can't remove him ever.
It wasn't just that, though.
But you can't remove a Supreme Court judge? Yeah. Who said?
Yeah.
Well, that's just how it is. See, that's what needs to be questioned. Why would you give somebody unlimited and unbridled power for life? It doesn't make sense.
So I agree with part of what you're saying, but I actually think that the main reason why we can't make a difference, or why we don't seem to be able to actually make a change in these things, is not because we don't know how to prove it. It's not because we can't prove it. You nailed the actual reason in the very beginning. It has nothing to do with that. And it's something I've been talking about for literally 5+ years. It is 100% because we cannot unite.
Period.
And the reason,
communicate and unite.
We can't communicate if we can't unite. And the problem is, it goes back to, again, what I've been talking about. This demoralization process that has happened in America, it's not just about flooding us with chaos and information. It's about completely dividing us based on every single thing that we have in our lives, based on religion, race, ideology, sex, gender, monetary, financial. It's every single piece of our lives. Think about this for a second, okay? Especially over the last few years. Everything has become political. And by everything becoming political, it has become divisive. So it's almost like every single conversation you have nowadays eventually goes to a political standpoint, and you are already making a decision of whether or not I'm going to agree with this person and be their friend or associate with them or not. And it is across the board. And then every time we seem to get any kind of momentum as a society and agree on something, I'll give you a perfect example: the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Okay. After that happened, there was an absolute moment where the right and the left were uniting, because they united under one common understanding. And that was, there are people on the left who were celebrating the death of another human being, a father and a husband. And both the right and the left disagreed with that, because that is evil. That is evil, actual evil influence. And I have said this from day one. You can go back and watch all of my stuff. I have said the number one thing that we have to figure out how to do if we want a fighting chance is unite the good. And the good is all of us. The good is right, left, gay, straight, Christian, atheist, Muslim, I don't care what you are. If you simply believe in good principles and you simply don't want to murder or take somebody else's life or do any of the things that evil wants to do, you are part of that good. But the problem is, they have done such a good job of turning all the good against each other and making us focus on each other, so that we can never turn around and actually look at the evil and realize we're not each other's enemy. That's the enemy. And we have to fight that together. And anytime we get any kind of momentum in that, anytime, immediately something else happens. So now I want you to trace it back to the Charlie Kirk thing, right? And I know you saw this too. Everybody did. The amount of left influencers that followed me after Charlie Kirk that would normally never have agreed with anything I say, even though I'm not like super right wing, it was crazy. And all those people, there was one thing we had in common, and that was, this dude was just murdered in cold blood in front of thousands of people. He's a father, he's a husband, and there's people creating TikTok dances. That's pure evil. I don't care what side of the aisle you stand on. Same thing with Gaza, right? Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people being murdered at mass and being starved and being tortured on a world scale. That's something that both sides can agree is an atrocity. What happened almost immediately after that? You had the ICE raids, you had the race wars, you had all of these things that just immediately popped up that once again just divided us completely again. You had all the political stuff. And then sure enough, guess what happens? Right as by the way, people just kind of forgot that this happened. We invaded another country, stole their leader, and took control of their entire country and all their resources. just overnight, and people just like forgot about it. Where's Maduro? Does anybody know? I don't know. Do you know? No, because everybody forgot.
Prison.
Yeah.
Awaiting trial.
Yeah. So
rumor says he's a criminal.
Yeah.
And I talked to someone from that country, and they said he was a cartel leader. Like, in other words, that was a very corrupt thing. They applauded President Trump for doing it. But it's like if we were controlled by, Al Capone. And then someone came and snatched him. Like all of us would be like, "Thank you very much."
But also,
so again, but who knows?
But you know what's really interesting?
Because the media lies. Well, we all know that.
And go listen to some of his speeches where he spoke in Spanish. Go listen to some of the speeches of the Colombian guy. Go listen to some of their speeches. You know what they're talking about? They're talking about the Epstein files. They're literally talking about how the Epstein files have all of our politicians and the Israel and all these people compromised, and how that's the reason that they're actually going after these people. But that I digress.
Which may be the truth, but this is the point. We don't have any truth anymore. We are in a trust deficit.
That's what I'm getting at. So all of these things happen as soon as we start to unite over truth. Okay, because there was a very clear line of truth that was drawn in the sand, and that is we don't celebrate the death of another human being, regardless of whether or not we agree with them or not.
Then why do we have capital punishment?
I'm talking about, this is a different situation. Capital punishment is you're punishing.
We're murdering people.
Yes, I'm talking
legally, and everyone's for it.
Okay, but that's a whole other situation, because we're talking about a guy who simply just tried to have conversations with people across the aisle, and he was murdered for it, or so they say, right? So the common truth, the truth that was accepted by all human beings, unless you were somebody who is either evil or infiltrated and manipulated by evil influence, was that's not okay.
Agreed.
But as soon as that came across, almost immediately following those days, more chaos, more demoralization hit us as a society and continued to divide us and make us forget that we had a brief moment where we all accepted truth together.
Are you in the files looking through them?
I've been combing through them with Ian Carroll's new app. So if you don't know Ian Carroll, you should definitely follow him. One of my good friends, absolute stud. But
is he the one that stayed open?
No, that's Ian Smith.
Okay.
He's also a good friend of mine. But Ian Carroll is, he's the one that just kind of went viral all of a sudden on X and stuff, because he's so good at researching and doing his videos. I mean, dude, if you think I'm good at deep diving, Ian's another level. But he created an app that's called The Web. And it's basically an AI app that will literally comb through all of the Epstein files, and you prompt it like any other AI bot, and it'll break it down to a science of like, this is what's really going on. This is what you're really seeing in the files. And it'll give you other prompts of how to deep dive even more.
I saw one called Jmail.
Yeah. So
it's almost like it's your email account.
Yeah. That wasn't,
you can search them.
That wasn't part of web. That was a whole other thing. Somebody basically created like a dummy email account so that you could go into Jeffrey Epstein's email and like search through the emails.
Don't you think sometimes that might be a trap?
Yeah, dude.
Because when you go in there and you start searching your name and stupid shit. And by the way, did you hear the whole Pam Bondi thing where they gave the files to the congressmen and all the senators, and they were tracking who they searched and what they searched?
Yep. Dude, so look.
So who knows? Maybe Trump's playing 5D chess. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's compromised. Maybe he's complicit. But here's my question for you, Ian Wendt.
All right, hit me. Let's go. Bradley.
Nobody knows the truth.
Correct.
So without the truth, you get confusion, and with confusion, you get chaos.
That's right.
So there's no way to know the truth. So what do? You can't make assumptions based on serious allegations like this.
Yeah.
They're eating babies' intestines, the feces out of babies' intestines. Who would eat shit, first of all? Second of all, out of a baby's intestine? Like, come on.
I mean, look, for people like, we talked about this the other night on the phone. For people like me and you, that seems completely out of the question, right? It's like not even out of the question.
No, if someone's doing that, Ian, that is a 100% demon.
Yeah, exactly. So for people like me and you, it doesn't compute because we're not demons. Like, we're not evil, right? For people like me and you, it's something so foreign. But you have to understand that for people like that, it's not foreign. It's evil, and it's accepted because they have completely adopted this influence.
You think it's satanic?
It's 100% satanic. What else would it be?
Because if you dig into the satanic realm, apparently if you do seriously evil shit like that, you will get money, power, and fame.
You derive power. This is Satan's world. We are living in Satan's world. He is the overall, like right now, he is the master of this world. And if you are listening to this and you're going to disagree with me, I dare you to try and actually prove that, because look around. There's nothing but evil. I mean, there's good too, but evil is overwhelming nowadays in everything. OnlyFans and porn is like the number one industry in the world. It is
like modern day Gomorrah.
It literally is Sodom and Gomorrah. And now we're building AI, which, don't get me wrong, AI, there's a lot of cool things that are going to come from it, like any other technology. But the way I look at AI is we are fast tracking the ability to ultimately harvest the power of God. I mean,
no way in hell ever will that happen.
Listen,
dude, he created the entire universe with words.
So here's what I'm saying.
AI is never going to do that.
So listen, I think AI, and I want to get back to something. So let me get this out and then I'll get back to that. But what I've said about AI is this. AI to me is like modern day Tower of Babel. And AI itself, I think, is actually the mark of the beast. And I think eventually AI is going to create a sentient being. They've already talked about AGI coming out and how it's going to think for itself and not just pull information like it does now. It's going to actually create new information. I think it's going to create a sentient being that is not governed by the laws of the world, laws of God, whatever. Think about it in terms of, okay, we get to a point where now you can upload consciousness to a cloud, right? And we already have robots. We know that they have robots that are basically human functions, right? What is to stop people from 5 years from now from their grandpa dies, and so they upload all of his memories and all of his consciousness just from his phone, and they create a lookalike robot for him, and all of a sudden now you're bringing people back from the dead. That is playing God. We are dangerously close to that, and I absolutely think that's where it's going. And that is going to be where I think God draws the line, because that is not
God. If God is real, well then
he's real.
Well, if he's real, anyone who claims that is just making faith-based assumption, because nobody knows for sure. But I can tell you this: if God is real,
do you believe in evil?
I believe in God because I choose to. Sure. But do I have evidence? No, I don't think anybody does.
Faith is,
the evidence is all around us. Like look at an eyeball, look at a human being, look at the miraculous shit that has to be so flawlessly perfect. Look at I mean, like when you look at this table, you don't question somebody made it.
No.
So when you look at a human being, you think that just evolved out of the blue, out of mud?
No.
So I do believe there's God, but I choose to believe. And I'm also honest enough to say I don't know for sure. And fortunately, it doesn't say you have to. It says you need to believe, and that's just a choice.
Faith.
So I'm making the choice to believe. But if God is real, then wouldn't he have known we were going to evolve to this? Wouldn't he have known what we were going to do? And more importantly, why did he make Satan in the first place? Didn't he know Satan was going to be this turd ball? Why this whole game if it's all real?
I'll tell you my opinion. Again, I don't, you can't, this is my opinion, okay? So first of all, why, what was the first question?
Well, let's just start with why did he make Satan?
Well, what was the question before that though? Because they led into each other. They said the first question was what? Why did God know all this was going to happen? Yes.
Wouldn't he know?
Well, that I'm saying yes, because if you believe in the Bible, it's biblical. This is Revelations. We're literally seeing it play out right in front of us.
And guess what it also says?
Yeah.
Do not be afraid.
Yeah, exactly. Over and over and over and over and over, because faith.
Then just chill. Sure. I already know how it ends.
Well, yeah. And
we're good.
Okay. So yes. I agree. That's why when people come at me and they say, dude, how do you deep dive and how do you know all this evil and how do you just still find a way to like function every day? And I always tell them the same thing. Be aware, but don't be consumed, because that's what they want. They want you to be consumed with all this stuff. They want you to completely allow this to engulf your life and take over your life. And that's what you cannot allow to happen. So be aware, but don't be consumed. But going off of Satan, right? Why does Satan exist? In order for there to be good, in order for there to be righteousness, in order for there to be light, there has to be evil. There has to be darkness. There has to be unrighteousness. You have to have an opposition in all things. God knows that. And I believe that God's ultimate plan for us is that we live in this world that is governed by Satan, by the adversary, who is the adversary of light and the adversary of everything good and the adversary of God, trying his best to make us choose to follow him instead of God. Our purpose here is to choose to follow God. It's to use our free agency that we've been given by God.
Free will. That's the power.
Exactly.
By the way. That's the power, by the way.
Correct. And we have been placed on earth as a test to see who will follow God and who will not. I truly believe that to my core. And that is also why I believe that, whether you believe in the rapture or the second coming or whatever, I believe in the second coming. I believe that Jesus Christ is going to come again. And I think that is going to happen once free will has almost completely been eradicated from the earth. Once Satan has gotten so close to actually completing his goal, which I believe is not to, it's not to get people in sin. Like that's just low hanging fruit.
It's to filter out.
It's to make us choose to not have free will. It's to create a society that is so willing to give up their ability to choose that they will just say, do it for me. Just do it for me. Because that was his plan all along.
Choice.
Well, it's a choice, but it's a choice to render all choice. It's saying, I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of not understanding.
That's still a choice.
Sure.
So again, you let your husband be in charge of you if you're a female. That's a choice.
Correct.
If you're a man and you let your wife make all the decisions,
right,
that's still a choice. So you cannot eliminate free will that way because it's a choice. So you're using free will.
Sure.
The only way to eliminate free will is to make it not a choice. So there is no choice. Well, there is no choice. You don't have a choice. Then you're eliminating free will.
And so that's and I do believe that there's a possibility we could even get to that point with everything that's going on right now. But my point is,
I think if it's that way, it's only an illusion. Meaning, I think the gift we were all given is free will.
It is,
and it's apparent in everything. You choose to be broke. You choose to be fat. You choose to be evil. You choose. It's all free will.
Yeah.
So I think that's the power that we were given, God given. And I think the illusion will be we don't have a choice.
Yes.
And that's when it's going to be this crazy times. And that's when I think it's filtering. Because again, if you truly deserve, choose me. And so as long as you continue to choose him all the way to the end, he's going to go, you did well, my young and faithful servant. Come this way.
Enter my rest. Yes. And the thing is, at the end of the day, we have to make that choice, but you also have to understand that we as a people have outsourced almost all of our sovereignty. I mean, if you just consider all the different things, even just the little things, all of the things that we have completely given up to technology or given up to something else, and now with AI coming in, it's happening even more and more and more. We are about to give up our ability to think. I'll tell you the craziest story, okay? No shade of my brother-in-law, but this past Christmas, I was shopping for my brother-in-law because we draw names in our family, right? And I'm in the mall and I'm shopping for him, and I call him because I'm like, dude, you have to give me like 5 ideas. I don't know what the freak you want. You're the hardest person to shop for. Give me like 5 ideas that I can just go get 2 or 3 of them. And he goes, I don't know, man. I don't know. And he thinks about it for a little bit. I'm like, just give me a few ideas, dude. Like, what do you want? He's like, oh, hold on a second. I'm gonna chat GPT it. And I paused, dude. And I was like, hold on. You're asking chat GPT what you want for Christmas right now? He said, yeah, dude, it knows me. And bro, that to me was one of the biggest eye openers because I was like, that's the future. The future is we outsource our ability to think. And when that happens, we are in a much different world because now not only is the value of, because right now, how do we create value? How do you create value?
Solve problems.
Scarcity of knowledge. You solve problems because you have more knowledge than other people and more ability because you've gotten it from, you've gotten knowledge from failing and from making those mistakes. And now you have the ability to solve problems better than others because of the amount of knowledge that you have based on experience that you've had. AI is going to level that playing field. It's going to make it so that there is no value in the scarcity of knowledge. You're going to have access to any knowledge that you want. PhD level in seconds.
Well, then labor becomes valuable.
no, knowledge still becomes valuable. But what I think is going to happen is instead of our class system, as of right now, our class system is based on the amount of money we make, right? It's lower class, middle class, upper class. We are going to get to a place where it's going to be based on knowledge. The amount of knowledge you have is going to be the class that you're in. And the same people that control the monetary system right now, they're going to control the knowledge. They're going to control how much knowledge you can actually have and therefore how much you can actually do and how much you can actually think.
Well, who controls the banking system?
Ooh, that's another podcast, Brad.
It is. And because we have to go.
Yeah.
You have free will.
Yeah.
Well, then how come you can't stay and just come back again for part 2?
Hey, I'm here till Thursday. Let's do it Wednesday.
Well, as long as you can come back when I can do it, it will be great. I slid you in this morning, which dude. Now we're out of time because of that.
No, it was good.
When we could have kept talking for at least another hour.
Easily.
And not only that, I want to find some solutions. I want to talk about the program or the group that you're putting together.
Let's do it.
Because again, a lot of people want to join that. But I don't think people are afraid to stand up. They don't know how. And they don't want to be the only one.
Let's do it.
If I stood up, whack, right in the head. I see Andy Frisella a lot talking about, we got to do something. And I'm thinking in my head, I'll join you, brother. But what are you doing?
All right,
so like Andy, of all people, he's got the resources. He's got the freaking knowledge. He builds killer culture. Like Andy should stand up and organize it. He can afford it. He's already got a mass following. I'd join him. You'd join him. Everybody would join him. Andy Frisella for president.
Hey, I'm with you. But here's the thing about Andy too. And I understand where he's coming from. Andy is extremely frustrated because he, like many of us, has been sounding this alarm for so long.
Yeah, talking about it. But we're all talking about it. Ian, talk is time. The time of talk is over.
Yes.
Nobody's listening. But it's now time to stand up, mobilize, and unite.
Yes,
folks, stay tuned for part 2.
All right,
we're back. Part 2.
We're back
now, because once again, we want to talk about what's going on with the Epstein files, with the problems in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And then also to talk a little bit more about the movement you're creating. What's it called?
The Modern Exodus.
The Modern Exodus. And where do people sign up for that?
Modern Exodus. Well, we have any links basically for in my profile, in Clyde's profile, or any of our builders that you just click that link and you'll get entered into the Discord and be part of the community. And then aside from that, we have lots of other additional resources you can add as you go in. But yeah, just hit the link and join the Discord.
And what's the movement for?
Dude, the whole point of the Modern Exodus is to exit this modern decaying world, to help men get out of this mundane, entitled, apathetic, chaotic world and build strength in every single area of their life.
What do you mean get out of it?
I mean, to create separation by becoming strong physically, becoming strong mentally, being a better father, being a better husband, being more capable for their communities. It's something we don't have right now. There are so many men in this country that are completely isolated and are not doing the things that it takes to actually make a difference. And we as men make the difference, right? I have women in my DMs that are like, I'll pay to sponsor a man. Let that sit for a second, right? The women are standing up and saying the men that don't want to spend $50 a month to be a founding member and to create real change in their communities and their families and everything else, I'll pay for them because they'd rather pay for a freaking subscription to OnlyFans or whatever else it is that they're spending money on, right?
And you teach men how to get off porn.
That's one thing. Yeah,
is there a porn problem in the world?
There's a massive porn problem. Dude, the porn industry is the number one industry right now.
Am I like just the perfect male or something?
Yes, I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Because I don't do porn.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're one of, I don't know how many. I don't know what the percentage is that doesn't. You know, I'm one of them. Like,
what do they just go home and jack off all day?
Bro, I don't know. This isn't my, it's not my thing, dude. I don't know. I'm married. I'm happily married.
I'm not against porn, meaning like, hey, you throw on some porn to get freaking wooded up and tear it up. And, it's like a something you do because you're kinky, like whatever. But like, you guys make it sound like there's a porn addiction where every day they're watching porn beaten off.
There is. I don't know the statistics, but I'm sure you could look it up. Porn is.
I had a guy on the podcast once, and he said, "Yeah, that's a big problem." And I'm like, "Well, it ain't that big a deal." He's like, "No, you don't know.
It's massive
because dude. I'm not because it's not a problem for me. So I don't just anticipate that there's all these porn addicted people. But like OnlyFans, I've never been on OnlyFans. Dude, I'm married though. Maybe if I wasn't married, I might have bought it to see what's in it. But like, you know, I just assume there's naked pictures. Well, you don't need to pay for naked pictures.
But go back to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is isolated, lonely men without purpose.
And ethics.
And immorality. And that's what we are trying to bring back with the modern exodus. And we're not...
Why is it called the modern exodus?
Because we are exiting this modern world. It is... Have you seen the stuff about the penguin? Have you seen all the stuff that came up about the penguin? It's funny because there was a little trend that was happening, like it was a couple weeks ago, I think, where there was this like voiceover of this, I don't know if he was like Australian or something, but he's talking about this situation where this one penguin was in I don't even know what you call them, a pack of penguins, what's the word for a bunch of penguins?
A flock
of penguins. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, it's this whole idea that there's one penguin that decides to go the opposite direction and actually just go straight into the mountains, even though it's 100% going to die eventually. It's just going into the unknown because it's taking the road not only less traveled, but it's realized I don't fit in anymore. I see the world in a different way. I understand things in a different way. I want to have a greater purpose, even if it means I'm going into certain death. And it sounds really like cliche and really, you know, aggressive or whatever, but that's ultimately the way that I see this is like these men have felt a need for a greater purpose. They felt a need to connect. They felt a need to actually make a difference in this world.
A waddle.
Yeah, well, that's what it's called, is waddle. That's funny. But the only way we can do that is if we actually get together. We cannot do this alone. We cannot make any kind of change in society or in culture if we try to do it alone. We have to stand together. And it's been that way since the beginning of time. But we've lost that because they have purposely isolated us and weakened us with things like porn.
So you're almost creating a warrior academy.
I mean... Yeah, no, that's not that. Yeah, we're definitely not creating some like fake boot camp thing. This is more. Yeah, I mean, yeah, personal excellence. Andy Frisella talks a lot about personal excellence, right? Like ultimately, I think that's what we're really after, is to create this sense of excellence and accomplishment and have these men really stand up and become the best versions of themselves, but not just alone. Like I myself have a lot to learn from these men. Right? I'm not leading this because I'm some kind of special person. I just happen to be the one that's going to help organize it because I do have the platform and I do have the ability to do that. And so I'm going to use the talents that God has given me, and I'm going to use the platform that I've been blessed with to build it out. But I absolutely am not the answer. All of us together are the answer. I'm going to become stronger because of them as well. I'm going to become stronger because of the people that we have in there that are also acting as what we call builders. Those are kind of like our coaches. These guys are all there to work together and become better. We cannot change the culture, and we absolutely cannot make a change in this insane, evil, chaotic world if men do not come together.
Unity.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. Would these men eventually, like, is it just a self-improvement thing, or are you guys going to go do something? Because I want to get to the Epstein file conversation real quick again.
Let's do it.
Because again, that's what's firing everybody up.
Yeah.
Now you have a solution to, you know, better yourself and your community and make the world a better place. So that's good. But what can we do about the fact that nobody's doing anything about these Epstein files? Like there's satanic want evil shit going on, and there's nobody doing anything. There's nobody going to jail. There's nobody forcing trials, and there's nobody forcing arrests. There's nobody doing anything.
I'll answer this with a really simple question. Why is it that the Epstein files exist in the first place, in your opinion? What is it that makes it possible for the Epstein files to exist in the first place? It's a really simple answer, actually.
Well, other than, you know, email.
No, but who's sending those emails? It's weak men. It's weak, evil men. Yeah. that are totally taken over by evil influence.
But your group's not going to attract weak, evil men.
No, we're not.
It's going to attract good, strong men.
No, and then
what are they going to do about those weak, evil men?
But that's my point. We're going to create the opposite of it. The best defense is offense. And the best offense right now is not going and storming the Capitol and falling directly into their hands and doing exactly what they want, because that's what they want. They want a violent uprising right now. That's the reason why these files are out there. They want a reason to usher in this insane AI surveillance system that they've been building behind the scenes.
But if they're in control, why do they need a reason to usher it in?
Because they're not completely in control. They're not. They're in control of the information right now. They're not in control of the people. We still have control. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. If we didn't have control, then they would just move in. They need a reason to usher in this idea of martial law and surveillance and all these things. And that happens when people make a dumb emotional mistake or decision and get violent and they're just emotionally reacting.
So what do you think we should do? Nothing?
No, we need to change the culture first. We need to be.
That takes years, bro.
Well,
so basically, so all these people are just going to get away with everything.
What do you think? What's the answer?
I think the answer is the powers that be that are currently in place need to eliminate any kind of freaking friction.
Public beheadings.
Create complete transparency other than the victims. Release the files unredacted, allow third-party investigations, right?
I agree.
And then take the findings and prosecute publicly anyone who was found guilty of anything. Now, again, just because your name's in the file doesn't make you guilty. That's a fact. Let's pretend my name was in there. They might have said, hey, this Bradley guy, and so my name would be on a list of I'm in the files. It doesn't mean I did anything.
No.
So you can't just go out and freaking persecute anybody whose name's in the file. But you can allow third-party investigators to go and openly gather information and follow these rabbit holes and gather evidence on people to where, the name in the file began the investigation. Then third-party investigators were then free to go investigate. And then the evidence was brought to the Department of Justice. And the Department of Justice will prosecute anybody with any real evidence, just like our court of law. But right now, they have things and they're not prosecuting anybody. Just for example, Hillary Clinton.
Bill Clinton, bro.
Let's just use Hillary for a minute. I remember when Hillary Clinton was told to not destroy these emails, thousands and thousands of emails. Yeah. And she smashed it
with a hammer,
she got rid of it, and nothing happened. It's like, why does she get away with that? The courts or whoever decided they're not prosecuting, those people are now guilty and complicit. So the files are now forever destroyed. And that's why I think these Epstein files have to be some sort of pawn in a game because, dude, all they have to do is delete them. Nobody knew what they were. How do you know what's in there? They're only releasing what they want you to know. They're only releasing what they think that they need to.
That's what I'm getting at, dude. That's ultimately what's happening. Like, everything you just said is what everybody would love to happen in a perfect world. But the DOJ obviously is not interested in doing those things. You have Kash Patel constantly going back on his word and lying about it. You have Pam Bondi talking about the Dow being over 50,000 when we're trying to talk about trafficked children. Like, they are obviously... It's exactly like you said. I also believe that they intentionally have released this, whether it's them or whether it's Israel or whatever. The files were intentionally released to, I believe, have a multiple effects. The first one is it's blackmail. I truly believe that it's being used as blackmail for whoever or whatever
it was.
It was. The next thing is chaos and demoralization. They want people to feel helpless. They want the population to see all of this evil and feel like, what we got to do something, but what can we do? It's so overwhelming. There's nothing we can do.
Is unite.
Yes, and we talked about this, and the reality is the next step after demoralization is normalization. And I've talked about this for years. What they're trying to do is they're trying to normalize evil. They're trying to get it to the point where people hear about these things and they think there's nothing we can do about it. So, I guess we just have to let it happen. And the scary thing is we're there. And the main reason why is, like you said, because everybody is divided. Nobody is united. Everybody sees things politically. Everybody is constantly focused on the bread and circuses, and we cannot see the actual issue at hand, which is our society has become weak, entitled, apathetic, and isolated. And the biggest piece of that is men are completely apathetic, entitled, and isolated. And until we can fix that,
is fixing that.
Well, that's our goal. We're going to try.
Yeah, but that's on one hand.
That's what we want.
That doesn't fix. That doesn't fix this.
No. So that creates a foundation, right? That creates the foundation that we need to address the actual issue in the country and in the world. What comes from that is what has come years and years, right? The ability for men to actually recognize a problem and solve that problem. Now, what that solution is, I don't know.
Let's figure something out. Like what's going on right now. Because what you're talking about, that is definitely a good movement. I think there's a lot of need for it, but it's a whole nother matter. Yes, men are weak nowadays, a lot of them. Let's get men back in a position of men, you know what I mean? But and let's say your movement does that, and yeah, it's growing, and man, all of a sudden now there's a lot of good men. 10, 20 years from now, that will help. What can we do right now? The fact that no one's going to jail, no one's being prosecuted, nothing's happening. Is there anything that can be done in your mind?
I think everything comes down to numbers. I think back to COVID, and I think about how I was kicked off of 18 planes. 18. Why? Because I didn't wear a mask. On every single one of those planes, if another 7 people refused to wear the mask, stood up at the same time when they were escorting me off the plane and refused to wear the mask, even 3 other people, what would have happened? It would have been a chain reaction. And why do I know that? Because if you look around right now and you see the amount of people that aren't wearing masks, that's the amount of people that wouldn't have worn a mask if they didn't have to during COVID. So what I know is that when I was getting escorted off the plane, if another 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people stood up and refused to wear the mask, that plane's taken off and we're not all getting escorted off. And it creates... I know. I think
you all would have been booted off and the plane wouldn't have left because there's no one on it.
But what if
that would have caused a change?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. That's what caused, whether it takes off or whether it's whatever.
Yeah, but that's unity.
Exactly. And it's not only unity, it's empowerment. It's empowerment because right now the world is being governed by fear. And it has been for a very long time. They literally create enough fear so that it makes people feel helpless. It makes them feel like there's nothing they can do. And it takes away the power of the united people. So it's the exact same thing we're talking about. If in that moment, enough people stand up, and it's not about being violent. It's not about being aggressive. It's about enough people standing up and saying, no, I'm not wearing this mask. You can either take off or you can keep your plane here. And then we're going to go talk to the rest of the people and they're going to all do the same thing. And sure enough, no planes are flying. It's the same idea. If you look at what just happened in, I believe it was Bulgaria. Bulgaria just had a massive, massive protest. They showed up in the millions, I think. I think it was like millions or hundreds, thousands. And either way, it was tons and tons of people in their country. And their parliament literally resigned overnight because enough people stood up and just showed up and said enough is enough. And I'm not saying that.
But that's what I want to happen.
That's what everybody wants, right? But you have to do it in a way where everybody understands this isn't about creating another civil war. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants the violence. Like everybody tries to act like, dude, you have these guys that try to act like they're hard with their Punisher t-shirts and they're ready to freaking storm.
Yeah, but all they're going to do is get shot.
Exactly.
That ain't going to do anything.
The modern exodus would be the catalyst to start that chain effect.
Exactly.
If you have thousands or tens of thousands of men organized together on the same page around the country and around the world, they can be the catalyst to start any movement or events or chain reaction that they want.
So the modern exodus is a catalyst.
Yes, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the catalyst that the world has been waiting for, especially the country, because it's the only chance that we have is if enough people stand up at the same time and unite And I believe that the power to actually make that happen exists in strong men. What's the quote? How does the quote go? Weak men make, how does it go? What is the quote? Strong men make
good times make weak men make hard times make good men.
Yeah. So
good men make good times.
Yeah, whatever that is. Cycle. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
You're bringing back the good men so we can get in better times.
Yeah. And
right now, is it hard times right now or is it easy times?
I mean, bro, I've been blessed. You know, I'm not like rich by any means, but I've been blessed with a amazing family, amazing wife. I have everything we need. You know, there's a difference between need and want, but we have everything we need. I've been blessed with a lot of different talents that I've been able to use in my life and influence and a lot of great things. I love my life.
You ever heard that guy? I think his name's Jesse Lee Waters or something, where he says,
"Oh yeah,
what is a man?"
Yeah. I know you're talking.
And the guy's like, "You tell me." He goes, "You're not a man. You don't know what a man is." Or he asked black people, "Do you like black people?" You know the guy I'm talking about?
I think so. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to like picture his face.
He's this black dude that basically, you know, he's not the one that says, "Why are you gay?" But almost like he will ask people, gay people, you know, "Why are you gay?" Mm-hmm. Or he'll ask a black dude, you know, "Do you like black people?" And he's, I don't know, Jesse Lee Watterson or something like that. Nate, look it up.
I'll have to look him up or something. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Now I don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah, Google him. He's funny.
But what do you mean? In what aspect?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we could sit here for hours and complain and bitch and point out and
yeah. And I mean, that's ultimately, dude, that's what we're trying not to do, because it's like, I'm looking at the guy now. Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. The thing is, you're right. We can. And that's what they want us to do. They want us to be consumed by the constant fear and constant tribalism and constant propaganda and just every other next thing. And they don't want us to focus on actually uniting and actually becoming everything that we need to be in order to fight against the system. They want us to just be slaves.
In order to fight against the system.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get to.
That's what we have to do.
So what does that look like? What does fighting against the system look like? Because individually, I understand, hey, you know, if you want to change the world, change yourself.
Yeah.
Get everybody to look in the mirror and take care of their own family. And if everyone's own family was changed and better, the whole world would be better because everyone's in the world. But fight the system. Like you listen to Andy Frisella.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, you know, tired of this. We got to do something. Well, what is what I want to know? What can we do? Is there anything we can do?
Get enough people to stand up on the airplane and take the mask off
at the same time.
At the same time.
And what is standing up on the airplane? It's not learning to be a better man.
No,
that's a catalyst for sure. It's definitely a need. But
it's not just about being a better man though. It's also about sharpening all the skills that you need.
I know, but I'm talking about fighting the system. Like right now, if I had the power, I would call up every person in Congress, 535, and say, "Hey, listen, I understand you could be innocent and I understand you could be great, but at this point in time, you're done."
Mm-hmm.
And everyone would look at me like I'm nuts.
Yeah.
And I have no authority. And they'd say, "Beat it." And they'd call the police and they'd remove me. And that'd be the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm one person.
Yep.
But if all of us said, "We are no longer listening to you 535 people, period. If your name is Donald Trump, if your name is Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, anybody, you're no longer empowered by the decree of we," right?
That's how it's supposed to work.
I know.
We the people.
But like, is there anything we can do in that regard?
Not alone.
Because the answer is
we need.
I don't think so. So when Andy's like, you know, we better do something, it's like I think to myself, well, shit, dude, let's figure out what to do. And then I think to myself, so I can call him and be like, "Andy, here's what we need to do." I can't think of anything that doesn't involve almost an impossibility of uniting the people and being able to prove it. Because proving it, give you an example. Let's say we all got together and we said, "Hey, we don't want to pay taxes anymore. We don't think taxes are fair." And we say, "Hey, everybody in the United States, if you all can agree, then we're going to just not pay taxes." And they won't be able to prosecute you because you asked for a jury trial, and who's on the jury? We're We're on the jury. And we all agreed. So guess what? There won't be a jury in the land that will prosecute you for whatever crime it is, whether it's taxes or freaking even murder or whatever. Like I hear stories about a guy who catches his daughter being raped. I would not prosecute the man for killing that son of a bitch.
You mean this guy?
Who's that guy?
Gary Plauché.
I don't know. But
this is literally the guy that found, his boy was raped.
Whatever it is.
And he killed somebody.
Not guilty.
Coming out of the courtroom.
Not guilty.
Yeah.
Not guilty.
Yeah.
Like if we all just said not guilty, he gets set free. And guess what? Everyone can be enraged about it. Killing, we're not allowed killing. Yeah, we do. We do. If you catch something like that happening, we've agreed, the people, that he will not be prosecuted. Is he getting prosecuted?
It's about changing.
I know, but is he getting prosecuted? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Who the fuck is in charge? Get rid of that person. Yeah. They ain't got a brain in their head. Fuck you. We agree he's not guilty. So fuck you.
Yep.
That's my point. Like, what can we do like that?
Why doesn't that happen?
Because he should be let go.
You're right.
He should be applauded, and he should fucking basically be.
Fun fact, he actually was. But
was what?
He actually wasn't. He wasn't prosecuted for killing the guy that raped his son outside the courtroom. The judge let him go. That's
good.
That's why it's such a cool story.
Okay, good. Then where's that judge? Let that judge be on the Supreme Court.
But my point is, why doesn't that happen in the first place? And we've already talked about it. We've already addressed
not the guy I'm talking about then, because there's a guy right now.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's on the internet. Know what his name is. And it says, if you look at this story, you'll be freaking out. And this county or whoever decided that they want to prosecute him. Mm-hmm. The whole world doesn't want him prosecuted. Everyone can understand what he did. But yet the law says, well, again, dude, some laws were designed incorrectly. Just like, prisons, for example. I think prisons should be a place for violent criminals. Mm-hmm. If you are violent, you go to prison. If you're not violent, you don't go to prison. We have other forms of punishment and rehabilitation for you. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, take taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't pay your taxes, you don't go to prison, you get kicked out of the country. So guess what? You don't want to pay your taxes? Don't. But you can't live here.
Yeah.
Move somewhere else. Where?
Yeah.
I don't care. Not here. And now I take your passport and I take your citizenship and I press a button and you're no longer a citizen of the United States.
Right.
That's a better punishment than sending them to prison, costing taxpayers money. Mm-hmm. They're not going to make money in prison. So how are they going to pay that debt?
Why did they have the prisons? I mean,
punishment.
Yeah. But that's a whole other conversation too, because the prisons are also a racket.
That's a business.
It's 100% a business.
And guess who owns the businesses?
Exactly.
And the food that they buy for the prisons.
Yeah.
They're owned by these politicians in some cases. The Bush family owns Con Ag.
Much of what.
And by the way, allegedly, just for defamation,
allegedly,
from what I've heard, some of these politicians own the companies that feed the prisons, that benefit from prisons.
Yeah.
And now we've got so many people incarcerated.
They constantly create the problem and then present the solution. That is,
and make money.
Okay, so that is their MO.
So how do we stop it?
So that's what I'm trying to get at. The whole reason why it doesn't happen, the reason why people don't say anything, the reason why they don't stand up collectively like you're talking about is because of fear. It's because they are afraid that they don't have the support and the backing that they need to make it happen. It's one person will not stand up if they don't feel like they have that backing. Very few of us will, right? I did. Like I refused to wear the mask, even though I knew that no other person on that plane was going to refuse to wear the mask. I literally walked through airports and I was the only one not wearing one. And I got looks like I was an alien for years. Why didn't I do it though? Because I knew that it was wrong and I didn't care about whatever, like I wasn't afraid of doing it. And I also had this idea that, man, maybe if I do it, enough people will see it and do it as well. But the reality is you cannot affect change if enough people don't do it all at once. And that is where we are right now. And not enough people are willing to stand up against this. They're aware of it, but they're not willing to actually stand up against it. They would rather live their lives in apathy. They would rather focus on the things that, whatever it is, right? They'd rather focus on the bread and circuses. They'd rather be consumed with the porn, consumed with all of this stuff that has been intentionally put in front of us to keep us down. and to keep us from actually being strong and united. And that is why this country is decaying. That is why the United States of America is decaying, and our politicians are doing jack shit about it. They just continue to send our money overseas to other countries that are facilitating everything that's happening in this country.
But what can they do about it?
Exactly. The thing is, they don't care. There's, the whole thing, when Michael Jackson, his last song or whatever that he made, right? They don't care about us. All I really want to say is that they don't care about us. It is 100% the truth. And I will give you the easiest way to understand this. How many of these people are in their 70s or 80s? You think they care about our kids? You think they care about 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years from now? No. They care about the now. They care about what they can get now. They care about the 10 or 20 years maybe that they have left. So why do we keep these people in power? Why are people like Nancy Pelosi still in power, robbing us blind, shorting the stocks, doing all the corruption, like all of this corruption? Why do we allow it to happen? Because not enough people are willing to actually stand up. They just live and let it happen.
What evidence have you uncovered that the world doesn't know about?
The world doesn't know about what?
Evidence that you've uncovered. Do you know of any evidence that you've uncovered that would put people in jail that aren't in jail? Or is it just hypothesis?
I mean, I can't talk about that. I talked about it a little bit with the Turning Point stuff, but it's not substantial
use
enough.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's not.
You think that was a hit, or you think?
Oh, I for sure think it was a hit. My opinion, allegedly, is he was taken out for sure, and he was taken out for multiple reasons.
Yeah, what is the reason?
I mean, bro, again, my opinion, allegedly, right? He was the most influential person when it came to the two youngest generations, without question. He had the most ability to not only influence them, but to be effective and actually change their way of thinking. And towards the end of his death, or towards the end of his life, he started to change the messaging that he was putting out there. People will try to say he didn't, but he absolutely did. He started to question everything that Israel was doing. He started to question all of the funding. He started to question everything that was happening with Epstein. He started to challenge the administration on attacking Iran, on the Epstein files, on all those things. He was starting to get very loud. He platformed people that were also very aware of what Israel was doing.
Do you think Eric Kirk is a plant?
Hold on. What's interesting is my very first stream that I ever did with YouTube was right after the Josh Hammer and Dave Smith debate. So they had a debate and they debated Israel, right? And I literally said in that stream in the beginning, it'll be interesting to see what happens to Charlie Kirk. If anything happens to him after this debate, it's because he platformed Dave Smith and allowed him to say the things that he said in front of all of these people and on such a massive stage. And sure enough, 3 months later, he's assassinated. Why did I think that? Because Israel's greatest need right now is to continue their propaganda tour, their Hasbara. Their Hasbara has fallen flat. Everything that they've built since the 60s or whatever that has kept the two oldest generations completely entranced and manipulated and believing that they're our greatest ally, and this whole idea of Christian Zionism and everything else that has controlled our politics and controlled our foreign policy and controlled everything else. They have had a complete hold on it for the longest time.
That's because they got pictures of people doing bad things.
It's not just that, though. It's because they have built a robust system of a robust process of propaganda and successfully propagandized the West in a way that no other propaganda campaign has worked in human history. But what happened was...
would you say they're brilliant?
Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant. They're the best propagandists in the world. And they know exactly how to manipulate and how to control the system. And what they've done is they've done that with the two oldest generations, the boomers, whatever. But the youngest generations, they didn't anticipate social media, and they didn't anticipate people like Charlie Kirk and things like Turning Point. And they didn't anticipate the younger generation waking up to the crimes that they're committing and to the propaganda machine that they're running. And so because they're losing that steam with the two youngest generations, which are the most valuable, because in order to continue to do what they're doing, that propaganda has to continue. but it's not working anymore, which is why Netanyahu has literally said multiple times, we have to fight this propaganda war in the next front, which is social media. That's why he's doing the podcast tours. That's why they're cracking down on censorship. That's why they're buying out these social media platforms, because they know that if they lose the youngest generation, they're screwed. And that's what's happening.
Screwed how though?
They won't have the necessary support from the West to be able to continue to do what they're doing. And they'll have to actually be more aggressive.
What are they doing?
Bro, the Greater Israel Project. They're literally creating the Greater Israel Project. They're bombing mercilessly human beings. They're killing civilians at mass just because they believe that the land is guaranteed to them because of their religious beliefs.
So if you were there and you were being bombed, what would you do?
If I was where?
Over there.
Like in Gaza?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would freaking try to stand up for myself.
I'd leave.
I mean, where are you going to go?
Wherever.
You can't go
Not
anywhere.
there.
You literally can't go anywhere.
They don't let you leave.
They have been
I
occupied.
thought that's what they want.
No.
They don't want you, they don't want them to leave. Then
No,
what
bro.
Are they fighting
No,
over?
they want to kill them. They want to kill them completely. They want to eradicate them from the earth. They look at them as vermin. They look at them as non-humans, and they want to eradicate them. They want to completely kill them off, and they want to take over their entire land. That has been the goal since the creation of the state of Israel.
So why is it taking so long?
Because it's hard to genocide an entire people and get away with it. But sure enough.
But that's what they're doing, you said.
Well, that's what it sure seems like.
What's taking them so long?
You want to chime in here? You got probably a ton to say about this one. Do you want to jump in here on this one?
Well, the bottom line is like, you know, I hear about Israel and how bad they are and this, and a lot of things are peculiar. You raise an eyebrow, you're like, well, that doesn't make much sense. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking, okay, well, let me agree with you guys or whoever's against Israel. And I say, okay, so what's their agenda? Well, they want their Holy Land back. Okay, so if I were over there and they were like trying to bomb me and my family, I'd just leave.
And I said you can't leave because they freaking occupy them.
So now they're
and they don't want them. He said
they don't want their land back. Yeah. You said no, they want them dead.
They do.
Okay, then why don't they want the whole world dead? Why those people?
Well, that ties into Greater Israel.
That's what we're talking about.
Greater Israel is their grand agenda. And if you look at the patch on IDF soldiers, it's not an outline of Israel.
It's Greater Israel.
It's an outline of Greater Israel.
Yeah, but
which goes into Egypt and other parts of the Levant, Jordan, Lebanon, all of Palestine. So, but in order for them to do that, they need global support for the Jewish people to make a mass migration back to their promised land. How do they do that?
Well, you know they can't hear him, so.
I know. That's what I was to say. You want to jump on? Do you have a mic?
You're on it.
You want me to just go over everything?
Yeah, because otherwise no one's going to hear what you said.
Yeah, so my theory with that.
No, just hang. Okay. This is where we keep it informal around here.
Okay. So your question is, they're committing a genocide. Why is it taking them so long if they just want them dead?
Yeah. In other words, like, dude, you say they're just bombing and killing people. So what's taking so long?
Yeah. So, I mean, they could hypothetically just poison the water supply and kill them pretty quickly.
They could do a much better job than they're doing.
Yeah. They could do it much quicker, much easier, much more efficiently, much less expensively because we're paying them billions of dollars.
So what? So yeah, if what you guys are saying is an actual fact, then why don't they just be more efficient and quick about it? They're obviously not getting any pushback.
This is like
they're not getting any consequences for doing it the way they're doing it. Is it like, well, you guys can kill those people, but just make sure you keep it bombs only? Well, like, no, dude, if they really wanted
why aren't they just wiping them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. My theory, and this isn't just my theory.
If you look at Hitler, when he was going at it, it was freaking supposedly, because again, everyone debates this too, but like he was going through and just annihilating them. Okay, so like that, he was not messing around.
Well, you have to
concentration camps, grab them on the trains, get them in there, slaughter them. Like there was no playing games. Why if the Israel government wants this land back, why don't they just kill them all quickly?
because they need the support. They can't just fly off the seat.
They don't, but they don't have the support now.
No, let me explain.
Yeah.
So you also have to ask the question, why was it live streamed? And why was it allowed to be live streamed? They could have done this in a vacuum and completely, they suppressed all of the pushback on social media during COVID. So we know they have the ability to control what goes out on the internet.
Of course.
Right?
Well, I don't know about they, but definitely.
Well, whoever controls the algorithms, right? They have the ability to control and censor what gets said and what gets pushed on the internet.
And we know that they do.
But
that controls the narrative, right?
Yes, it controls the narrative. It's all about where do they want your attention to go. What they're always trying to get you to react to things that you see in the news and the media. Okay. They're always trying to shape your worldview and how you view things. So why would they live stream a genocide that was so obviously and objectively a genocide? Well, my theory, and it's not just my theory, there's a lot of people who think this as well, is because of Greater Israel. And one of the ways that they can achieve that master plan to get Greater Israel, which also used to be a conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
Greater Israel used to be a conspiracy theory, but the Likud party, Netanyahu, Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, they all talk about Greater Israel. It is a real...
Well, just like the New World Order. They talk about that openly now.
Yeah. So it's a real agenda. And if you look at the patch on the IDF soldiers' uniforms, it's an outline of Greater Israel. It's not an outline of the map of Israel today. That's what they want. And it all ties back into them ushering in their Messiah, which is the Christian Antichrist, which is this Jewish prophecy that their Messiah will come back. And when their Messiah comes back, the Goyim will be their slaves on earth, and then they'll have free reign of the earth and all these things, right? And there are Jews that actually believe that that's going to happen, but there has to be prophecy.
There's also Jews that don't believe that.
Correct. Absolutely. That's why I prefaced that. I said there are Jews that do believe it, not all do. But in order for that to happen, that master plan for their Messiah or our Antichrist to return or come here, there has to be things in place. Conditions have to be set, and certain prophecies have to be fulfilled. One of those being is Greater Israel. And the way that they're trying to expedite that process is, number one, they're doing this plan twofold. They're killing two birds with one stone, no pun intended. But they're getting rid of the Palestinians, but they're live streaming it and allowing it to be talked about and propagated online to fuel massive worldwide anti-Semitism, so that in their view, they want Jews across the world to feel like they're not safe anywhere outside of their homeland, so that they get a mass migration of Jewish people from Europe, from America, from Asia, from parts of the Middle East, Africa, wherever, to come back to Israel, so they actually have people to fill in all those lands. That's also why they're bombing Lebanon. That's also why
what's the problem with Iran?
With Iran, they are the last major threat.
Last stronghold.
Yeah, they're the last major stronghold in the Middle East for Israel. And the only other problem is their proxies. So it's Iran and their proxies. Their proxies are the Houthis in Yemen and the Hezbollah in Lebanon, which they're already destroying. They're already bombing Hezbollah and the Houthis. You also have to remember their other two enemies when they first started this nation state of Israel was Egypt and Jordan. Okay. You can look this up, but I'm pretty sure the second and third biggest receiver of foreign aid from America is Egypt and then Jordan. But they used to be enemies with Israel. It goes Israel, then Egypt, then Jordan. That's who we give the most money to. Why would we give money to Egypt and Jordan? To buy them off so they stop attacking Israel. So the last major threat is Iran and their proxies. So we need to have a war with Iran to overthrow the Shah, or excuse me, the Ayatollah.
Well, and here's the thing too. That's also, bro, that's why I'm going to jump in here real quick. That's why we'll just share this, bro, here. So look, that's why for literally decades, you can go back and watch the video clips. Netanyahu has been trying to get us to go to war with Iran for decades. There's video clips from like multiple years leading all the way back to what? I mean, basically was it before or after the Iraq war?
It was before.
Well, it's about to work.
Before, it for sure is. I don't know if you know this. Most people don't know this, but the the
Iranians threatened nuclear war.
So the Ford is headed out there. They just sent the Lincoln out there. They just sent, I saw today, 55 jets out there. Like, we are going to war with Iran. It's going to happen, which is crazy to think
because
about.
Iran said we will use nuclear war.
Yeah, but
if that happens, dude, it's World War III, period. And they have ballistics that can reach us.
Iran can reach bases. Listen, this is something you actually need to pull up. Netanyahu is the one that said that Iran has missiles to reach us. But if you actually go watch that clip, it's really interesting because he basically gets on and he says the West needs to be afraid of Iran because they're just as big a threat to them as they are to us. And he starts naming off cities that could be hit with missiles from Iran. What's really interesting is he says cities like New York. He says cities like LA. He says all these big metropolitan cities,
Houston,
right? Yeah. Like but then you know what one he throws in at the end there?
Washington, D.C.
No. What is it? Oh my gosh, what's the freaking Trump place? Mar-a-Lago. He throws in Mar-a-Lago. Isn't that interesting that he says all these major metropolitan cities and then he says Mar-a-Lago? You can go look that video up. I swear it's 100% real. And so what you have to understand about Netanyahu is if you go back and you actually watch all of these clips and everything he's been saying, this dude has been getting us into these wars on behalf of Israel forever. We went to war in Iraq because of Netanyahu, because of their intelligence.
Why do you think the dude has such control and influence over the United States?
That comes down to a lot of different things, but I think it all kind of ties back to what we've been talking about, and the Epstein files is definitely a major piece of that. The best way to understand that, though, because I will butcher it if I try to explain every single in and out of that, go read the books One Nation Under Blackmail by Whitney Webb. It's a 2-part series. It is the best, most researched, incredible book compilation when it comes to not only the Epstein connection, but also just the overall crime syndicate in the United States and where it started and how it's like evolved into this whole idea of our government itself is basically just one big crime syndicate. And the agencies they're the ones that are perpetrating these blackmail operations and basically making it so that we will do the bidding of these countries that have us under their thumb. And it's by far the best. Like,
if all this is true, guys, then we're all screwed. If all this is true, we're all screwed. Period. So now what? No, you're screwed. If this is all true,
what does screwed mean?
Screwed. You're done. You got nothing you can do about it. You're gonna sit there, shut the fuck up, and like it because you can't do shit about it. If this is all true, we can't do shit about it.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, it's inevitable. I don't know where you sit like religiously, but I'm Christian. Ian's Mormon. We believe in God. We believe in end time prophecy.
Christian and Mormon are the same thing.
I'm Orthodox Christian. Yeah.
I'd say you're probably more right than you guys.
What are you?
I'm just a believer.
Just a believer. So do you believe?
I don't do religion as much, only because I think it's all tainted.
But I would say all three of us believe in God and believe in Christ.
Yes.
So do you believe in like end time biblical prophecy, eschatology?
Again, I choose to believe, so I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So then you believe that the Antichrist will return, and then Christ will return and defeat him, and create the new heavens.
I believe it's happening.
Well, so if anybody's watching and you're a Christian, you believe in that. Even Muslims believe in the return of Christ, the Messiah.
And it all says, "Do not be afraid."
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you sit back idly and just
what's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's prophecy. You can't stop it.
Sure, but then you're just putting people in a frame of like self-loathing, despair, and apathy, which is
or enjoy your time while you got it.
Enjoy your time, which I just talked about this with Sean Kelly a bit. It's like we live in a matrix, a system that's controlled past our ability to really impact it that much. Like we can't control the fact that the world is run by a cabal of satanic pedophiles that eat children. Like that's not going to, it's been going on for decades, I would say centuries, and it's not going to change. Like we can't stop that.
Yeah. So what? So all we can do is what? Turn around, go inward.
No. Because
worry about you and your circle, and improve them.
Well, yes. So it also goes back to this. It's like what he just said. It's not that the world is run by satanic, ritualistic, cannibalistic pedophiles, because that is maybe true. But what the world is, and this goes back to what we were talking about. The world is run by evil. This is Satan's world. It just is. That is a reality. And that's what we are living in. And so it does no good for us to just sit back and allow that evil influence to take us over because we become apathetic and entitled and everything else. Like that's what evil wants. And so the way I look at it is this: if I'm on the freaking Titanic and that sucker's sinking, dude, I'm not taking my family, going to the lowest room and locking us in there and drowning. I'm riding that bitch until this freaking nose goes under the water, and I'm keeping my family above it as long as I possibly can. And then we're going to tread water. I'm not just
and then die.
Absolutely. But
so you're dead either way.
But
you know what? You know who had the smartest plan on that Titanic?
Yeah.
The ones that said, I'm getting in the lifeboat.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The survivors. They had the best plan.
Yeah. So, okay.
All the rest of them, there was the wrong plan.
Okay. So metaphorically, what's the lifeboat though? What's the lifeboat?
The way out.
Yeah. So what is the way out for all of us?
In my opinion?
Yeah.
God.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And guess what? You ain't doing shit that he ain't in control of. So chill, relax. Now, again, allow it to happen. No, but you can't control it. Like, if I could control Netanyahu, I'd call him and go, BB, what's going on, brother? I'm hearing some crazy shit.
Hey, you might be able to get him on your podcast, bro. He likes American podcasts.
But in reality, if all the people that are against Israel are right, you ain't doing nothing about it. And if all the people that are against Israel are wrong, nothing's going to change. Guys, nothing's going to change. But nothing's going to change.
The problem is that
all we can do is change ourselves, which is why I like the Exodus movement. Yeah. Because you guys aren't about, hey, let's go to Washington and change this. Because you guys, just like when they were saying around here, storm Area 51.
No.
They said, you see a bunch of hillbillies going, they can't kill us all. Fuck, they can't. And fuck, they won't. So guess what? I would stay the fuck away from Area 51 because you will all die. And that is a fact, and you will all die unless it's all of us. All of us ain't going. A small group of freaking riled up rednecks were going, and they would have all died. So at the end of the day, they would have affected nothing. What should they have done? They should have just forgot about Area 51. Why? Because you can't do anything about it. And if you can't do anything about it, why even fucking try? So just go figure out what you can control and what you can do and do that, which is why I like the modern Exodus.
The purpose of the modern Exodus is exactly what you're talking about. It is not to be apathetic and to just forget that the problems exist, but it is to focus inward and focus on the things that we can control and make our lives as best as we possibly, the best version we possibly can. And yeah, bro. Bombs. There's the bomb.
So let's wrap it up, only because again, the cameras aren't set up for two, the mics aren't, but I'll have you guys back, and I'm going to bring Dan Bilzerian. I'm going to bring a couple Jewish buddies of mine.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, because again, here's my point. I don't follow enough, and I'm honest to know I don't know. You're mighty convincing, but you could be full of shit and you got the wrong information. So now we're all mad at the Jews, and the Jews, I mean, my Jewish buddies, they're not fucking anywhere near what you're talking about. That's the thing, and then that doesn't mean that none are. So again, it's like, is it Israel or is it Jews? Because they're two different things, And by the way, just like black people, black people do this and that. Listen, I'm sure there are black people that do this and that, but not all of them. No, dude, and there's white people that do this, not all of them. There's Jews that, not all of them.
We don't disagree.
We agree. Right. So to me, I want to get a room set up where, because Dan Bilzerian does some research. He's pretty convincing, but I also know we were
just with him last night.
Yeah, but I also know this Jewish buddy of mine that's running for Congress in Arizona. He seems to know, and I don't want an argument. I want discourse to where people can have a conversation. And I think everyone that I'll invite there won't be any violence or yelling. No. There'll be, and then explain this, because I do want to know, like, well, what about the Bolsheviks? They killed 60 million Christians. How come that's not in any history books? Hey, that's a great question. Why is that? Well, then this guy might say, well, da-da-da-da. And then everyone has both sides of the information to where what can be done. Because at the end of that conversation, what can be done? Guys, there's evil in the world, period. You're not going to stop it because, like you said, this is Satan's world. So what can we do?
We shake hands. We figure out that we have more in common than we think we do. And we freaking link arms as men, and we try our best to build the best communities for ourselves, for our families. And we just focus on the good, and we focus on strengthening the good so that we can not only stand against the evil, but just fight the evil with good. That's what we do. I think we stick to our character and our virtue until the day of Christ's return, because we know that's going to happen.
There you go. That's the best plan I've heard.
We look towards the return of Christ. In Orthodoxy, we have a saying called nepsis. It's a Greek term that just means spiritual readiness or spiritual sobriety.
Get your gospel armor on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't know the day or time of your death,
which is
and you don't know the day or time of Christ's return. So you have to constantly be prepared. But that doesn't mean you wallow away in self-pity and just succumb to the overlords of the matrix and allow them to control you and your family and all of society. We know we can't change things to an extent, and we have to look towards Christ, but we can't be apathetic and sit back idly while we wait for that day to come.
Agreed. So anybody in the bomb squad that wants to become a better human being, where do they go? Sign up in your profiles, links.
Yeah. So you can go to either Ian or I's Instagram. Mine's _TheRealClyde_.
Mine's Iwenster, IWENDTSTER.
Do you guys have a backup? So when Instagram kicks you off,
you can also go to our branded Instagram. It's modx_project. So MODEX_project. And you can find us there as well.
Yeah. And please, if this resonate with you and you're a man that's thinking you feel like you're kind of part of this decay and you're like, what can I do? Join this brotherhood and come link arms with other guys that are feeling the same way. And we're trying our best to give you as many resources as possible to help you really focus on everything we've talked about, yourself, your families, your communities, and just be better as men. And that's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish with this. Yeah.
Folks, get ready for the all out group podcast I'm going to put together. I'll invite you guys. All right. Oh, yeah. Dan Bilzerian for sure. Dude, but I'm also getting my other buddies that are Jewish and
that's totally fine. Yeah.
And pro-Israel. I want pro-Israel and anti-Israel.
Yeah. Is that off?
No. But I want a collection of people that, hey, listen, they're obviously in different beliefs, because I brought it up to the people, and I brought it up to Dan, and like, I don't know enough to say, Dan, you're full of shit. And I don't know enough to say, no, you're full of shit. Mm-hmm. So like, I want to bring the people that seem to know everything, or at least claim that they do. And I want to hear both sides, because I want to hear someone say, well, if that's true, then this is the case. And then this person says, well, here's why. Like, for example, USS Liberty. Oh, they blew it up. There was no flag. It was an accident. And then everyone does that. And then it's like, well, look at the records. This guy says there's records.
Bring in the victim.
I know, but listen, there's records of it.
Yeah.
So look at the records. What do the records say? Well, those records were changed by whom? And again, let's get to the end of it to see if there's any. But I think that at the end of the day, awesome. it'll be a moot point, because we're not changing anything with a table of a podcast. But it sure will get the views and the engagement.
Yeah,
and then we'll start there. Till next time, folks. Keep it real. Go join the Mod X.